Welcome to the Graduation Coach Campaign's video series. The Graduation Coach Campaign is an initiative in Philadelphia that is committed to supplying adults with the information they need to help students graduate high school and move on to college and successful careers. You can find more videos like this one at phillygradcoach.org. Please feel free to pause, rewind, and rewatch this video at any time to get the most out of your viewing experience. Hi, I'm Saya Hormozi, and I'm the director of the Graduation Coach Campaign. It's no secret that financing college is a challenging and daunting task that often leaves students and the adults in their lives confused and overwhelmed. At the Graduation Coach Campaign, we want to help you make wise financial decisions, not only in regards to your current financial situation, but for the financial future of your student, since it is he or she that will be shouldering the responsibility of repaying any student-related debt in the future. Remember, there are many ways to pay for college. It's a good idea to watch the Graduation Coach Campaign's video, Types of Federal Student Aid and Responsible Borrowing, as well as the video, Scholarships, Loans, and Other Ways to Pay for College, before you watch this video, so you have a clear understanding of the entire picture your student will need to consider when making decisions about paying for school. For this video, the Graduation Coach Campaign will show you two animated segments created by Federal Student Aid, an office of the U.S. Department of Education. The first will give you an overview of the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. This is the application that will help federal government determine how much federal aid your student may be eligible for. The second segment will debunk many myths you might have heard about the FAFSA. There's a lot of misinformation floating around out there, and we want you and your student to know all the facts. After each segment, I'll pop back up to review the main points you should remember, and at the end, I'll let you know some next steps for you and your student to take on your own. First, let's hear about the FAFSA, or Free Application for Federal Student Aid, what it is, how it works, and how it can help your student.
If you're interested in financial aid for college or career school, you're going to need to fill out the Free Application for Federal Student Aid, or FAFSA. It takes most people about 30 minutes to complete online, and the best part, it's 100% free. And it provides you with access to grants, loans, and work-study funds from the federal government. And many colleges and states use FAFSA information to provide their own college or state financial aid. Your FAFSA can be completed online at fafsa.gov, and help is provided throughout the online application process. You'll need to fill out the FAFSA each year you're in school because your financial situation may change. Plus, if you've already filed your taxes, you may be able to automatically retrieve the information from the IRS. If you haven't filed yet, don't worry. You can use estimated tax information and correct the information later. Each state and college or career school sets its own deadline for the FAFSA, so it's best to get it done early. Since some of the funds are available on a first-come, first-served basis, you don't want to miss out. Now that you know about the FAFSA, you might be asking, well, how much money will I get? Your college or career school will do the math, and there's a simple formula that they use. First, the college takes your cost of attendance, which is the total amount it will cost you to go to that school. Your cost of attendance will vary from school to school. Then, the college subtracts your expected family contribution, or EFC. Your EFC is based on information provided in your FAFSA and will not change based on the school you attend. However, the EFC is not necessarily the amount of money you will have to pay. Basically, your cost of attendance minus your EFC equals your financial need. Your college uses your financial need and other information to determine how much financial aid you can receive. See? Pretty simple. If you have questions or need more information, please visit studentaid.gov.
Okay, so you just heard about the FAFSA, or Free Application for Federal Student Aid. Let's replay the highlights for the main things to keep in mind. First, the FAFSA is 100% free. There is no cost associated in filling out this form. Second, the FAFSA not only determines eligibility for federal student aid, but often individual colleges, universities, and career schools also use it to determine how much financial aid they will give to your student. Remember, Aside from the federal aid your student may be eligible for, the school to which he or she is applying may also award them additional need-based financial aid. This makes filling out the FAFSA doubly important. So, how does the FAFSA determine financial need? The Federal Student Aid Office uses the financial information your student provides on the application and plugs it into a formula to come up with your student's EFC, or expected family contribution. This is the dollar amount which the federal government has determined that your student or his or her family can contribute of their own money towards the cost of their student's education. They then subtract your EFC, or expected family contribution, from the total cost of tuition and room and board, if applicable, of attending a particular school. The difference between what your student's family can afford to contribute out of pocket and the overall cost of the school is called your student's financial need. Once your student is accepted to a school, he or she will receive an award letter, which will detail all the options available to them to meet that financial need. Here's a simplified example. If federal student aid determines your student's expected family contribution, or EFC, is $5, and the cost of tuition at a prospective college is $10, then the remaining $5 is considered your student's financial need, or the contribution your student's family cannot afford to make out of pocket. Federal student aid will then determine how best to get your student that remaining $5. They may give your student $2 in a grant, which they won't have to repay back. They may loan your student $1 through a federal loan, which they will have to pay back with interest once they graduate. And federal student aid may give your student the opportunity to earn another $1 through a work-study program, which will allow them to make that money through a part-time job while enrolled in school. This will leave your student with $1 remaining of need. Your student's college or university may award them this $1 based on the FAFSA information they receive, or he or she may have to take out a private loan for that last $1. Remember, you'll see all these options in your student's award letter. If your student finds out that he or she may have to take out a private loan, make sure to sit down with your student and determine if taking out a private loan would be a financially sound decision for them. Websites like clarifycollege.org can help you through that decision process. The goal here is to make sure your student is encouraging a manageable amount of debt. That's why filling out the FAFSA is crucial. It can drastically reduce the amount of money your student needs to borrow both federally and from private sources whose interest rates may be high or repayment options completely inflexible. It's much better to take out a private loan for $1 rather than for the total $5 of financial need. So here are some quick do's and don'ts about the FAFSA. Do fill it out early. Federal aid is given out on a first-come, first-served basis. If the funds are dwindling by the time your student fills out the FAFSA, then they're just simply out of luck. Also, individual schools that use the FAFSA for their own financial aid all have different deadlines. The earlier it is completed, the better your student's chances at meeting all deadlines for all schools they are applying to. Do fill out the FAFSA every year. Since families' financial situations can change drastically from year to year, so does their students' financial need. So your student must fill out the FAFSA in the spring semester of each year they are in college to secure financial aid both from their school and from the federal government for the following year. Don't assume you won't be eligible for any funds because of your family's financial situation or other myths regarding the FAFSA. To find out all the facts about the FAFSA, watch the next animated segment, which Federal Student Aid has created to dispel any myths you may have heard about the application.
Federal student aid is available to students from all walks of life and all financial backgrounds. Don't let these common myths keep you from getting the financial aid you need for college or career school. Myth number 1, my parents make too much money for me to qualify for aid. There is no income cutoff for federal student aid. How much money your family makes is just one of many factors that determine your eligibility for federal grants, loans, or work-study funds. In fact, if you're a graduate student, a veteran, married or have children, or if you are 24 or older, parental information may not even be necessary. Myth number 2, I need to file taxes before completing the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA. You can use estimated information on your FAFSA, so you'll be able to submit it before you file taxes. In fact, many states and schools have financial aid deadlines well before the tax deadline. So completing your FAFSA early is a good idea. You might want to base your estimates on last year's tax return, and once you file your taxes, you can log back in and update the information. You may even be able to use the IRS data retrieval tool to automatically import your tax information into your FAFSA. Note, this may change the amount of your financial aid that was based on the estimate. Myth number 3, the FAFSA is too hard to fill out. Completing the FAFSA online at fafsa.gov takes only about 30 minutes with easy step-by-step instructions for every question. If you do get stuck, live help is available by web chat, email, and phone. Myth number 4, my grades aren't good enough for me to get aid. Eligibility for most federal student aid programs is not linked to your academic performance. However, you will need to maintain grades that your school considers satisfactory in order to continue receiving financial aid. Myth number 5, my ethnicity or age makes me ineligible for aid. Not true. Federal student aid is not given out based on your ethnic background or your age. As you consider college or career school, remember that there are resources available to help you make it a reality. Millions of students complete the FAFSA each year and receive financial aid to help pay for college. Don't let these myths stop you from achieving your goals. You could take the first step by completing the FAFSA at fafsa.gov. If you have questions or need more information, please visit studentaid.gov.
Okay, so you just heard the truth regarding some common myths you may have encountered when considering filling out the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. So let's replay the highlights and bust those FAFSA myths. First, there is no income cutoff for FAFSA. Anyone of any income level can apply. Second, you do not need to file your taxes before you fill out the FAFSA. You can estimate your earnings for the FAFSA before the April 15th tax deadline and go back and adjust it later if necessary. Third, the FAFSA is not too difficult to fill out. The process only takes about 30 minutes, and there are step-by-step instructions for each question, along with access to a live help person through a chat feature. Fourth, academic performance does not impact your student's federal financial aid. It doesn't matter what your student's grades were in high school when applying for federal aid for college. However, once enrolled, colleges do require students to maintain a certain GPA to be able to receive the funds that they are eligible for. And finally, the FAFSA does not take a student's age or ethnicity into consideration. So, what are the next steps? Now that you know what the FAFSA is and how it can help your student, you are ready to sit down and fill it out together. Watch the Graduation Coach Campaign's next video on the FAFSA entitled How to Fill Out the FAFSA, which will take you through the process step by step. Filling out the FAFSA is a giant step in the right direction of setting up your student for financial success after college. Thank you for taking the time to empower yourself with the knowledge you need to help guide your student through making the best decisions possible for his or her future. For more information on other ways to support your student and more videos like this one, go to phillygradcoach.org.